Says we're live. All right. Welcome back to Miss Kulala's
Miss
Mystical Musings. Yes, because I am cool.
La la.
Yes.
Yeah, you're cool.
And I sing sometimes, so yeah. Okay, so that I wanted to emphasize how to say it. You got to say it like that, Miss Kulala. All right, so today,
both Peter and I are going Miss Kulala.
Kulala. I can see we need Ricardo Montalban saying that.
Exactly. I'd be fine with that. All right, so we have Mr. Peter J. Watts today. Welcome. We have Gerald from TarotStache. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
So we today are going to we're gonna revisit the Animae Mundi Dialogues with Earth. We have look who's here. We have Carol. Hi Carol, thank you.
Hi Carol.
And we're also going to talk about the Oracle. So I already have the Oracle out, and I'm gonna splay it out, fan it out, because after we chat a little bit about your Oracle process, I'm thinking some interactive readings. What do you guys think?
I'd like to see how it reads. I've done a couple readings with it. We'll see. I said, I don't think it works. Julie goes, oh yeah, yours is a first deck, that Oracle deck that doesn't work.
And check it out. Do you see something missing?
Oh, you guys got the special copies.
That's right.
It's very special because
I have the third.
Absolutely.
There you go.
There's only three, I think, that don't have the ISBN on the back. So that's it.
Absolutely.
Oh man, we're like the, I don't know. Like
we're the cool kids.
We're like the Hedrick, the cool la la. You're cool, we're la la.
Oh yeah, we're the cool la la mystical musing.
Yes, thank you.
That's hilarious.
All right, so and also I wanted to have Gerald on because he is going to talk about bibliomancy, and we are going to apply that technique to Animae Mundi Dialogues with Earth by Mr. Peter J. Watts.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a good time. I think it's going to be an excellent time. All right. I have a question that has been mulling around, and you have not answered it yet.
Am I avoiding it?
Yes, you made some jokes. The whole process of the drawings, I understand that. But what I am curious about is like after you would have a moment, or however long it took, where you're channeling and you're drawing, like when you're done, what happens?
Yeah, the way I describe it is like I just draw until I'm done. I mean, like literally until I'm empty is what I basically say. So it just keeps going, and eventually, sometimes it's like I said before, it's like one sitting, or sometimes I come back to it 4, 5, 6 times, and then there's just nothing left. It's like, okay, I've spent all that. I'm that whatever that was has emptied out, and now it's time for I'll start something different. And again, they all start as a doodle. They just all start as something, and then they just keep going. And then I wish I guess I never really kept track of like where my brain is as I'm drawing. But eventually it's just I'll stare at it for a while and going, yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm empty. And then on to the next page. So
when you were doing these, was it you were just open and stuff was coming out of you onto the page, or were you thinking about something first as a seed, and then the drawings came from that?
A little bit of both, Gerald. I think and there's there's a few drawings, like, ones like with Bear Butte on them, Sacred Mountain, and I literally kind of drew out the profile of Bear Butte, and then it expanded from there. Most of the time, I'll say 85% of the time, I'm literally not thinking anything. I'm just, depends on the paper, and it's doing what it's doing, and it's like,
Sure.
and eventually it starts looking for
Tony?
something. Hi, Tony. Eventually it starts looking like something. I mean, and that, oh, look at that. That looks like a bat, then pretty soon then I'll start drawing the bat. But for the, I would say 85% of the time, I don't have no end game. It's just kind of coming out.
So what about the translation process, though? It's like when you're looking at that, like after you would draw it, you would just like wonder why you drew it. Was there like a translation of what, like the message?
It's a little bit like journaling, where, if you're going to sit down and write about your day, and some people like to journal in the morning, which is really a nice time to do it, really. And which is like when I record a lot of my dreams, which are in the Dialogues with Earth. I put quite a few dreams in there. That's when I would do it. Well, either middle of the night or typically in the morning. So it's a little bit like journaling, where whatever I doodled, when I go back to that page, I can kind of go back. And so a lot of times it's just emptying out from the stressors of the day. Sometimes it's like stuff happened. And as I'm drawing, I might start thinking about that. That comes out better for me writing than drawing. So it literally is I just have to say, it's more like it's a non-thinking gig. It's just an outpouring of these lines on the paper. And then eventually I'll look at it, and like I said, I might see a shape that becomes something, and that means something to me. And you'll see a lot of recurring shapes. I mean, for me, the horned one is the big one. You'll see oak leaves like all the time, and so lightning bolts are in a lot of them, and so there's a lot of those recurring shapes. So, and what they're doing for me, that's kind of a good question. I don't know if there's kind of a specific, there's your acorn, there's the acorn and oak leaf. We're done. Go on to the next card. You've seen it all now.
Look, there's an acorn right there. Well, but those images, Peter, are part of your language and your understanding. And I am not a shaman. I imagine that shaman have common symbols that give indication for certain things. It's like when we have our own dialogues with divinity or deity, we have our shortcuts, if that makes any sense. So
right, it does. And as shamanic work, I mean, there's certain tools that we use that are more comfortable for us than others, right? So I think a lot of times those shapes are there. And Carol, I would say yes and no. I mean, my higher self, and that's connected to everything, is pretty much what's guiding that. For when I consciously like notice, hey, that looks like an armadillo, then I'm consciously drawing an armadillo. But for the most part, it's just my higher self, I think, that's just kind of emptying out. Yeah, and spirals are another big one that come out in my drawings. And
sure. Is it okay if I show these, Carla?
Well, oh, please, yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Okay, so my next question is like, you had mentioned in your book that that's like 30 years of these pieces of art, these channeled drawings. And then, somebody says, hey, you really should create an oracle deck. And then, it's like, so then you have to revisit these drawings and then associate an affirmation or something, a message from that for someone else. So what was that process like?
So yeah, it's been more than 4 decades of drawings. And like I said, I've got kind of dozens of journals that I've kind of kept over the years. And, I've been drawing since I was a kid. So so the process was kind of interesting. It actually kind of started with Julie. She listened to the book. She had like that Google, I don't know, it was Google Translate, but you can, when you have a text, because I sent her, I think, the PDF, and she has like a text to voice
Oh,
app or
neat.
something on her phone. And so while she was knitting, she just played. I said, "How weird was that?" Because a lot of them are going to be drawings. Like, how does it just like go past that, or I mean, what does it do? But she listened to it, and then she started to like record like certain words that for her either she heard over again or that resonated with her. And she sent me a list of probably, I don't know, 20, 25 terms that came out of the book. And so what I did is I looked at those and going, that's actually a pretty cool idea. And so I went through, and then, it turned into 64 cards. So I needed 64, arcane, words on there that would mean something. And then I started to like, well, which card would be like that? I mean, which card would be like superorganism is pretty easy. That's B. And that was the last card I had done. She says, you've got to have a superorganism in there. I'm going, okay. So that literally is the last drawing I've done. And that's that one I did in like either
Wow.
December or January. So that is the most recent. And I look at like, it's not as, I don't know if it's as good as the other ones. I don't know. It's different for sure. I mean, watching people, watching people, like watching Julie paint, she got better as it went on. It was kind of the same thing. It changed your whole body, everything changes as you're doing it. So then I started to kind of then correlate these terms that I had come up with, and with a card. And so then I needed some way of organizing it. I had no clue like how to organize all these pictures. And I felt like I needed to. I suppose they could have just been put out there, but again, sitting in the quiet, in the dark woods, I started wondering like how I could organize this, and that's how the system, I don't know if that's what you want to call it, the system came up. And so I organized it basically into two sections. The first one, it starts with west, and so it's like earth, west, dusk. So I associated like an element essentially with a direction, and basically like a time of the day. And the second section is using the elements, so earth, but then using that with uh, a past, present, future, and idea, which, the idea of the conundrum is that this, are there four dimensions? And there's more, right? But, how do we can get this 3D space, which is space, time, and then the conundrum is now how does time fit into that? And so then I have that kind of the, the time of the year, essentially, I guess, with that, or a past, present, future. And then I needed a fourth one, so I had the kind of the timeless place. Was that the timeless place right there? Yeah. So and so that
Yes,
then
it
I
is.
started kind of now how do I organize all these words with these kind of categories? And then I just started shuffling around, and for the most part, I was kind of surprised how stuff fell into place. Like, I mean, I didn't have to force it. Sometimes I had to think about it more, but as I looked at the pictures and not only went from my own um, feelings about whatever is in there. I mean, a dragon or whatever. But then I also started like looking at other people's descriptions of like, what does bat mean? What does dragon mean? What does acorn mean? What does feather mean? And
Yeah.
I was able to kind of put together a text with that. And
Yeah.
that guy always makes me smile. I don't know why. And that turned out to be the last card. And holy cow, did like stuff start going wrong? Like on that
Yeah.
last one. It was, it is so funny how it manifests while you're doing these things. It's really bizarre. Now there are at the end there, so I need to do like 72. Since I had 64, the increment of card deck I had to put together was 72. So I could have 72 blank cards. So there were some of them like the ones that Gerald are showing now that are just blank. There's nothing you can do with them what you want. I use them as bookmarks. So as I'm going through stuff, I'll use them. I'll put them in the book. But you can create your own cards with those or whatever you want to do. So there's 7 cards that don't have any descriptors or a place in the book. They don't have any definition.
So I find something extremely interesting that, not sure how it happened. I think it was, it happened in a divine manner, like another form of channeling on your part, was the 2 destiny cards.
I don't know if anybody noticed that. Oh my God.
When you brought that to my attention, the first thing I did, obviously, was look at it, and then the associations. And you have the first one in the earth, west, dusk. I'm thinking that's the base. That's one destiny. And then you have the second in the sky, south, midday. I'm thinking, okay, destiny, in my opinion, is never set in stone. We always are going to have one or the other, because we always have free will. We always have a choice. It is that dual nature that we have. And hello.
Well, it was just,
I don't think it was an accident.
Well, what is so bizarre about that, Carla? I mean, it also just dawned on me, like, at some point. I mean, I had done the cards. I labeled all the cards. I had to type out destiny and place it on the card using Photoshop, and then I did it again. And usually, if I've done something like that, I remember, like, oh, wait a minute here. I think I did that right. I mean, especially if I've written it down, and then then I'm typing up all the stuff about destiny, and then later on, I'm typing all the stuff about destiny, and it never connected. It just did not. So something was blocking me from not putting it. I mean, I was almost freaking out. Like, okay, I'm pulling this deck, and I'm gonna have to come up with a whole separate card. And I talked myself, and you helped talk me off the cliff. And that is like, it is what it is. And why it came up, I don't know.
I think it was not an accident. I think that, like even in tarot, you have a like a lower vibratory meaning, and then you have the higher vibratory meaning. And so, I mean, I think it was no accident. You have one in the earth, and then you have one in the sky. It's almost like a transcendence. It doesn't mean that one is greater than the other. It just means that that's the path. That's the path.
Right. I'm going to have to really pick that apart, and what I wrote about within the sky section and what I wrote about within the earth section. And and I looked at it, it's like, well, there's really, I didn't duplicate anything.
Yeah, I was just talking about, so for those of you who don't have the book comes with a description of the imagery as well as associations, messages, and takeaways. And the takeaways for the well, all of it is different.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool.
I think it makes perfect sense. I mean, it made it even more, not the FOMO, more like, oh my gosh, what a gift. What a gift. I mean,
yeah, from a guy who overthinks stuff, that was probably a good thing.
I think it was perfect. I really do.
Well, I think you were the first one I brought that up to. So it's like, I look at, I just flushed. I mean, I know that my whole body just flushed, like this total freak out moment going, oh my God, what did I just do? I'm a loser. I shouldn't be doing this. This is not for me.
Oh, there you go.
The negative talk starts going in. And then as I started thinking about it, I was like, well, I came up and I looked at it like side by side, and they weren't the same. So I was okay with it.
Absolutely.
I think that's cool.
What did that one? I missed that one, Carla. What did it say?
Oh, I'm sorry. Carol says, when you look at images, art there is to me movement, fluidity that encourages my thought process to expand. Yes, absolutely. That's another, when you look, and there's not just one thing to look at, and then you're putting the images together, here, this is a little bit, simpler, but, and obviously I think she's talking about your art in general. And then you get here and it is more complex. A cocoon?
Right. So if you flip it over once. So right. So that shape does come up for me fairly often. That's the mega shell. It's a cowrie.
Okay.
So in the tradition that I was taught, which is essentially Anishinaabe, the mega shell was the shell that the creator used to blow life into all of life on Earth. So the creator, the great mystery. I mean, Gitchimanatu, used the megas to blow life into the Earth, and it also was part of their migration. So if you look at the Anishinaabe, there's basically three nations that belong to that, three tribes. It's the Odawa, the Potawatomi, and the Ojibwe. And they migrated from the Atlantic coast, and their mythologies, their stories tell, whether they're myths or not, doesn't really matter, right? What their stories tell is that they were told to follow the Megas, and so the Megas appeared to them. And if I remember correctly, I think it was actually like a young girl who, because the migration took a long time, but she was the first one to start saying, "We need to go that direction." I can see the Megas, and so it guided them into the Great Lakes area, which is where they kind of ended up in Canada and in Wisconsin, that area at some point. And of course, it caused a lot of problem. And they were told to move because the prophecy was that there was going to be a new people showing up on the Atlantic coast, and they were not going to understand them. And so they needed to get out of Dodge to get out of there. So of course the Europeans showed up, right about that time as they began to migrate to the west. So the cowrie is a really important symbol for me. The megas is an important symbol for me. It's also part of the Medewian. The Medewian is their medicine lodge, and so I had gone through some of that. I'm not leveled on any of those. There's 7 levels, I think, of the Mede. But that's also one of their symbols. So the cowrie is also a medicine. The medicine lodge is part of that mega shell as well. And of course, go to Africa, and it's a super important.
Very important. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm satisfied with the understanding of how you came about with the oracle.
Good. I kind of explained it, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just wanted to, like I write music, and when we were doing our album, I couldn't use any of the lyrics that I had written previously because they just didn't go with the music. So he, the guitarist, he would come up with a song and he'd be like, "Well, can you just write lyrics?" And I'm thinking, really? Like right now, just write lyrics? I don't know.
Interesting. So normally you're like, do the lyrics, and then the music would be built on that. And so this was the music, and then you building the lyrics into it.
Yeah, which is like opposite of,
Right. That's cool.
But normally I would be able to just, okay, I think I can use these lyrics, and they just wouldn't fit. So the process of, it's kind of the same thing. It's like you have these drawings, but yet you had to, associate them with some type of affirmation or, the meanings, the higher meaning, the takeaway, all of that had to go with the artwork. And so I was very interested to know, how you did that when these drawings were from a long time.
Well, and one of those, like this one is in milk. I don't know if you can't see. I probably got too much glare or something. But I put the swan in there, and I didn't know why. Well, it turns out that is one of the. They migrate at the time of around February, early February, and they're also associated. Yeah, and the swan is also associated with Breed, the goddess Bridget or Breed, and that's her time. That's her celebration. Mm-hmm. So again, I don't know why I put it there, and when I started looking more closely, it's like, you know what, that does fit. And so I was really surprised, actually, a lot of times that it did. So.
Well, and isn't that an important thing when these messages, whether they be words or images, when they come through, when we take the time to look at them and to sit with them and to get a deeper understanding of them, it's surprising the amount of layers that show up.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I didn't know that. Wow. Okay. It's pretty incredible.
I think so too. Definitely.
Very exciting.
So getting
you
back,
too can create an oracle deck. Anybody can do it. It's got to change. It's got to tap into something.
well we all can create.
Yes, we can all create, and you have to be willing to trust that tap into the creation,
absolutely,
into that process. That's the struggle, I think, a lot of times.
Right.
And so I will get off my soapbox.
Well, actually,
I don't know. Where'd you pull that from? I don't want to know.
I have what you cannot see, Peter and Carla, is I am ready for just about anything. So I'm just saying. It's what a props magician does, is always ready for anything.
That's not a bad thing. That's awesome. I wish I could do that. The bibliomancy thing. When did we first hear about that? When were we talking about that?
That was something that Julie had mentioned, because the book, it's a hefty book, and Julie had mentioned, oh, you could do bibliomancy with it, and I'm like, yes, yes, you can.
Yeah.
Because
have you tried that?
Well, and I was hoping it was going to get me off the hook for doing an oracle deck, because I had no intention of doing an oracle deck. See, I could have just.
But there's so much more in the book.
Into it. Well, and it was great listening. Like, I think it was actually on your channel, Gerald, that you were talking about oracle decks, and this is kind of early on in the process for me. And I was like, I posted a question, like, do people want guidebooks like with an oracle? And I'm like, because I was just going to do the pictures, like, interpret the way you want to interpret, right? I don't, and boy, it was kind of overwhelming. Like, no, you need a guidebook. I'm going, damn, I got to write a guidebook.
You need a guidebook, and so therefore we have a guidebook.
Yeah.
And and here's the thing: is the guidebook itself. Books, bibliomancy, just
right.
Pick any book, hold something in your mind or your thoughts, and then open the page, open to a random page, and you can get a message. Well, this will certainly work very nicely for bibliomancy.
Yeah.
And so that's quite amazing.
The images are pretty small, but certainly workable.
Yes,
definitely workable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And to be honest with you, Peter, I was going to get this and not the cards, but then I saw the cards and I was like, or the images, and I'm like, oh, I can't see that. I want the bigger, So
yeah.
Marketing, see?
There you go.
So who would like to in chat would like to have Gerald do some bibliomancy?
Well, did you get all of your stuff out there about the bibliomancy, Carla? I plowed through. Hi, I'm Gerald. I'm an overachiever. I will plow through. My apologies.
I just have you used the Dialogues with Earth for bibliomancy yet?
I have not. I have not done it yet. Have you?
No. I'm not sure of the process. I think I've watched somebody else do it one other time, and it's been a long time ago.
You may be overthinking it.
I might be.
Because really, seriously, bibliomancy, I mean, it's been done with the Bible for many, many years.
I'm sure the term.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you hold something in your mind, or whatever.
Like shuffling cards, you've got a question.
Yes. Yes. And then okay, so here, I'll just, use this. And so what does Carla need to know about this? And then I sort of stop, and then I point to a thing, and it says, I leapt outside to the ground and ran swiftly through the soldiers. plow through it, Carla. Just get up and go. Be willing to do it. I was surprised when I noticed that many were Indians themselves. They drew guns, knives, and other weapons, but I was too quickly past them to stop me. I ran incredibly fast. It was more like flying.
Wonderful.
You
And
see
it
what
hits home. It was the perfect message for me. Absolutely.
So when are you going to create your oracle deck?
Well, I think I'm gonna do palmistry.
You need to do an oracle deck and put it to music.
Ooh, yeah. Didn't you ever do that with radio? It's like when do you remember making mixed tapes or mixed CDs?
Absolutely.
I still do.
Yeah.
And I have a playlist, separate playlist.
You just press random. It's like, okay, what message is it that for today?
Yep. Absolutely. Carol wants you to do some bibliomancy for her.
Are you going to read the oracle?
I will do oracle, yes, but we'll do the bibliomancy first.
Well, you could do it with the guidebook. You could do the same thing with the guidebook instead of drawing.
True, but I've had my hands all over these cards.
Oh, you're charged up. Okay,
I am.
Good. All right.
So I'm actually gonna put it up there. So you can
So
see.
is Carol going to ask a question, or is she going to just leave this up?
I'm thinking, what do you oracle is going to be like whatever message comes through, maybe.
Okay. Practical Mystic Carol. All in all, the flamboyant theatrical mountain man persona is one that makes me pay attention. So,
I know that Carol is a Scorpio.
Scorpio.
So, yeah, I would just notice. Yeah, and you're yes, of course.
Yeah. So, thinking about that, perhaps, Carol, it's time for you to lean into who you truly are and understand that perhaps there's some theatrics could be a rejuvenating thing for you. What are you thinking, Peter?
Well, and it's kind of interesting because that, it's my story, so I know like all the background on it, so it's a little bit different, I think. But mountain man is this an adventurous type, like lean into that. I would agree with your takeaway on that.
Yeah,
that was a reading I got from Tangi and Ben. That was an interesting one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Then Angie had the unfortunate experience of accidentally licking a llama, alpaca, or perhaps a chorizo cross between the male llama and the female alpaca as it strolled past her. Go out and lick some animals.
Beast of burden.
There you go. And by the way, Carol, for entertainment purposes only.
Well, I pulled the water dancer for Carol, and the message of the water dancer is to best prepare for the future. Be in the moment. Dance is meditation. Go with the flow. Escape for a little while. Get out and dance to connect with others. Dancing is a vehicle for self-growth and actualization. Connect with the other world through shamanic movement. Dancing is a form of worship. I think that is wonderful. I mean, yeah. The takeaway, water dancer reflects a specific time when you felt direct connection to something bigger than yourself. Sit with that to remember that moment, relive it, really feel it. This is reflective experience. It's just what you need to move forward. And I think it's interesting because she's Scorpio, and I think she's got a lot of Scorpio. And
because She said, Gerald, my question was, should I expand and sell items on Etsy?
Oh, hey,
Yes.
yes.
Woo!
And yes,
Do it.
without fear. Absolutely.
Well, and Carla, I could actually see a palmistry oracle.
You know, that's not a bad idea. That is not a bad. Ooh, Gerald.
You know, I keep staring at my own palm, going, I don't see it. Where's that triangle? I don't see a triangle.
Honestly, I am finding because, you know, I've been studying for at least 2 years now, like hardcore studying. And it isn't until I'm actually seeing all the different hands that I am tested on that, you know, because I've like, I have this standard model that everyone looks at and they're like, well, man, my hand don't look like that. Well, no, your hand does not look like that. You know,
that's probably where the intuition really comes in handy, right? I mean, because now you're going to say, well, that's not exactly there, but this is what I'm getting from that, right? I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Well, this is like, yeah, this is just to show you where the lines are because they are so different. Like I've seen a fate line that will like be this big, but then it's broken and then it's up here and you see this big long line. The sun line on that model goes all the way down the hand, but I have like 5, but they're all still sun lines.
Yeah, and I've been watching your videos. I'm going, okay, now where is that?
Yeah.
And if I crinkle it a little bit, maybe I can see a little bit more, you know. But yeah, I'll leave it up to the professionals.
I think an oracle is not a bad idea, Gerald.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes.
Audiomancy.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep. There you go. We have Wandering Mountain Bardic
Jamie.
Path.
That's Jamie.
Jamie. Oh, excellent. Thank you for joining us today. Okay. And okay. So you asked Carol if
I was curious if that helped Carol with, you know, since I found out the question after I did the reading. So
and Carol dances just about every day.
Nice.
That is excellent.
It's time for the body to pray.
So, would anybody else in the chat like a bibliomancy reading or anything else from the Oracle deck? I'm going to put this one over here. Carol says that it made sense. In fact, when she looked at you today, I felt like you two are ready to make some important changes.
Here, you know, I'll be that guy. Like and subscribe so you can follow along.
Yeah.
Don't miss a thing.
So who wants to volunteer next?
Come on. I can't see who we got. Do we have people out there?
Yes, there's Jonathan, Tony, and Jamie.
Ooh. Jamie just said from Peter's deck. Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, let's do it.
Oh, I think this one right here.
Which one did you get?
That is Sky South Midday. Uh-oh. My camera's acting up. Or is it still?
That's one of my favorite cards.
I have
it.
it.
My camera's acting up. Nope. No, there it is. Yep. That's on my phone. So Sky South Midday. The message is slow and steady wins the race. Stay below the radar. Any pace is a good pace. Listen to the music of your inner voice. You are being reminded to enjoy yourself. Choose to live a life filled with blessings. Chaos accompanies creation. Your life should incorporate the basic human needs of the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Find sacred space where individuality doesn't get lost. Let go of things you no longer need. Maybe it's time to choose a new path. Make connections to the spiritual realm. Ooh. I'm going to take that off there. So the takeaway, it's midday and it's a perfect time. Ride the thermals and soar above the fray. You will live long enough and take up enough life experiences to don shaman's eagle cloak. Journey into other worlds brings you closer to your true self. Your higher self is sailing toward full-blown freedom while teaching you how to travel the universe at will. Your guardians and animal spirits are with you, offering assistance and protection. Wow, isn't that awesome? What do you think about that, Jamie?
See, here's something else that you can look at. Is it also looks like it also looks like weighing things. We have weighing, but we also have lightning here. Is that lightning or is that a mountain going over the mountain? And going over the mountain is where more of the energy applies. You know, where it can be lifted. And sometimes that conflict actually lifts. And creative inspiration.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, Jamie said, I'm fascinated.
Excellent. Excellent. We have Jonathan wants to volunteer, and Tony wants a reading from both. So I'd say we give Jonathan both too. What do you think?
Well, if we're going to give Jonathan both, should we give Jamie both or do something completely and utterly
She might have thought it was an either or situation, right?
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Well, and when we were on your live last time, Gerald, I think that's how you guys had kind of chosen what sections of the book to look at, right? She just kind of put her feet on the ground and like, there, that's what we're going to look at. So she kind of did a little form of bibliomancy with that.
So, okay, Jamie. Are we doing Jamie?
Yes. Yep.
With prayer and mindfulness, I continue working to keep the warrior's rage under control.
Ooh.
That's on page 28, Jamie.
Wow.
With prayer and mindfulness, I continue working to keep the warrior's rage under control. And that's the page with the bring me balance of prayer. So there you go.
All right. All right, Jonathan, I'm going to pick a card for you. Ooh, I'd say this is Jonathan's card right here. Jonathan got creation. Look at all the stuff in that card. There's so much. There's so much. All right, I want to, I'm going to look up the meaning that he has associated.
And that one of the imagery, I kind of go through a lot of the little pieces that are in that picture because there is a lot in that one.
Oh my goodness, yes. Excellent. Thank you, Gerald. So the message is that actively participate in the creativity of the cosmos. You are undergoing great transformation. Physical transformation of energy is happening around you. Journey of the soul. Accept change with grace and eloquence. Some change is beyond your control. Maneuvering into safe place. Time for a change. Embark on your personal journey. Inspire others to follow your lead. Spend some time alone. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Embrace the darkness. Stop, look, and listen to avoid difficulties. You're still in the process of change. You're acquiring new skills. You're on the verge of healing. You've outgrown your current space. Bring the world into ordered existence. Living within a community deepens your reverence for life, passion for justice, and human transformation. There are hundreds of creation stories. Yeah. So takeaway, Jonathan, is you are experiencing big transitions. And though possibly disquieting, you are protected. Trust your guides who linger in the liminal spaces between sky, earth, and underworld. There are powerful creative forces at work in your life right now. And this card is asking you to embrace change, whether it be in your physical environment or within your emotional body. Look up at sky and tune into nature's cycles for guidance. You are creation. Ooh, goosebumps just reading that. Ah, woo, that was amazing. Yeah, Jonathan said, "Wow, yeah, absolutely." So, yes, bibliomancy.
Okay, Jonathan. I was in a grocery store and I picked up a single Advil from the display, which apparently was okay because it was listed as 95 cents on the tag. I swallowed it right there, which is weird because I rarely take aspirin, much less ibuprofen. Which I would actually say, pay attention to what you're putting in your body. And sometimes what you wouldn't normally put in your body is exactly what your body needs.
And it's also anti-inflammatory, so maybe look at something around
True.
that. Yeah.
True.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. So next is Tony.
And then after that, I did see Pia.
Yes, Pia, definitely.
Just letting Pia know that we see you.
All right. Oh, Tony. Tony has quarter day, vernal equinox, Ostara. So I'll let you find that, and I will look that up. Vernal equinox.
Yeah.
Oh, there we are. It was actually pretty close. I'm going to go ahead and start reading.
Go ahead. I'm just trying to find it.
So the message for that, Tony, is raise your energy to regenerate. Abundance manifests from dreams. Light a candle, feeling a pull from two directions. Hold on, I'm going to put my glasses down here so I can see it. It's like, what do I wear these for? Good riddance to that which doesn't serve. Marker of change. Faith, hope, and charity. Maiden Mother Crone. Return of the birds. Be sure of what you want before you manifest it. You can face your fears. Take back what you've lost. If it's important to you, explore your dreams. Breathe into life your heart's desires. Use your magical skills in a new way. Oh, here comes goosebumps again. Use the next waxing moon to start something new. Now is the time that you've been waiting for. Whew. Okay, so the takeaway is what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Like the spear and the shield, the irresistible force paradox says that there is no true contradiction, just false uncertainty. This card is about frame of reference. Our perceptions of reality are based on point of view. If you remain still, it appears that all else is moving. If you are making progress, don't worry about how fast you're on time, and everything is as it should be. You are shifting from introspective quiet into an expansive and bountiful season. Though there is often discomfort and change, remain clear on how you want to transform. Let go of self-imposed limitations, doubts, and fears and connect to your inner power. Keep your balance. You are taking the first step towards fullness. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
And the shield and spear and that came from a very intense vision that I had that I wrote about in the book. It's called Visions of Atisokanak. And that's the shield and the spear in that one. That's a pretty powerful combination.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Interesting. All right, Tony, you want some bibliomancy? The southeasterly wind, which had been light so far, began to blow harder. The red leaves clinging stubbornly to the red oak trees that had been relatively quiet thus far began to shudder and rattle. Doesn't that work nicely with
It
this
does.
idea of
Winds of change.
yeah, winds of change, shuddering, rattling. So can't make this stuff up. Hey, Twisted Sushi. Lady Adora, hello.
Ooh, pineapple is an inflammatory fruit. Yes. All right. So, Pia. All right. I am going to.
She's a fellow Wisconsinite.
Really? Ooh, that's really not far from me. All right. Pia. Okay. This one was peeking out. This one said, pick me. The fungal network. See, I think he makes me smile.
Which
the face in there, and the little acorn on the tip of the nose.
I think it's page 9. Page 9.
Yep, absolutely. So the message with that is, get my hair on my face too. An injury to one is an injury to all. What or who you seek is hidden in plain sight. Speak for those unable to speak for themselves. Observe subtle yet profound messages around you. Communication is key in all relationships. Portals can be found in the least likely of places. Though it might seem a lowly job, decomposers are vital to life on Earth. Avoid being influenced by the Jedi mind trick. Try on that Woodwose mask and see where it takes you. Talk to trees, run with the wild ones. Ooh, that's another good one. Jeez. Okay, so the takeaway. Most of the fungus biomass is unseen, lurking beneath in the form of mycelia. These thread-like networks wrap around and bore into the roots of trees. All around you are mystical, profound phenomena, and you are being told to roll that along that old log over and look for inspiration. This card indicates something deemed insignificant as something profound. It might be masquerading, so silence the outside world and settle into Animae Mundi, and message will appear in plain sight. Shift your perspective and you might see a whole new world. What seems like madness to others sits perfectly well in your personal worldview. There's a portal hidden in plain sight, so create and cleanse your sacred space. Send those tendrils of compassion out in the world and communicate with the network of magical beings who are trying to speak to you. Ooh, my goodness. Yeah. Fantastic.
Oh, I need to read from the Animae Mundi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. My urban property is registered as certified wildlife habitat. Over the last 30 years, I've rewilded this 0.34 acre parcel, balancing habitat for wildlife with growing food and our uniquely human activities. So here's what I'm thinking about with that. When we have the, the fungi network, this stuff takes time. It's not a fast reaction. It's a slow and steady. And what you don't see going on underneath the surface, there's a lot going on. And so with this is it took, 30 years and it's still continuing. So the work is paying off, yet you may not see it immediately. Do not give up. Do not lose hope, because you build it and they will come, so to speak. And you pay attention to it and you can adjust appropriately with wisdom and knowledge. because you know the way the environment is going.
And the wood woes is a guardian of the wild spaces. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes when we get too caught up in like, I got to do this, I got to do this. Oh my goodness, I got to do this, and somebody's talking to me. Oh, we miss big signals. We can miss our turn. That happens to me a lot.
You can turn?
If I remember.
Straight ahead. Don't turn.
Yeah.
Plow through.
Yeah, plow through.
Wow.
Yeah, that's an awesome reading. Yes. All right. So, we still have, would Lady Adar or Amanda? Amanda, do you want one? Twisted Sushi.
Oh. See, and I think it's really what's I think is really nice. Heaping praise in your general direction, Peter. Are you ready? Okay. As you work with these cards, it's not, if you lay more than one card out, what's the story that's being told between the two of them? What's the relationship? And what's similar and what's different? Because sometimes what are the opposites is where we find balance. So, I could actually see, hashtag purchase responsibly when you get your own copy. Pull a couple of cards from the deck, read them intuitively, and then do something from the guidebook and just read a sentence or two, and do they relate? What's the connection between the two of them? That's how I operate. And yes, I'm an overcomplicator and all of that, but I think that's where I think it's the fun part of it. It's like, oh yeah. Because what we see in the spring, we revisit again in the fall. Nothing completely goes away.
No.
Okay.
I think that obviously it's like, it's more clear now that you're, these were meant to be given. These messages were meant to be given because, yes, I'm sure that you received a lot from them, but now you are giving them to others that can use them. Because when I was reading these messages and the takeaway for the individual that I had pulled the card for, I trust my intuition, and those goosebumps, that's the universe. So I knew that those messages were very much meant for the people that they were given to. So the fact that you are the one that created the image to go with that message, you're the person that said, okay, the universe said, okay, Peter, yes, these are for you, but they're also for everyone else. So as long as it's taken, it was meant to come out this way. There was it's a great purpose. And I think it's a fantastic Oracle deck.
Okay.
Just because of that.
Breathe, Peter. Breathe. It's okay.
It's really nice just to hear other people read the words too. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've read them myself, and yeah, it was.
It's nice.
How about we do one more reading?
Well, and we can do Twisted, but then Lady Adara, the crone, said you can read for me if you like.
All right, perfect. That's perfect.
If you guys have time, I got time.
I got time.
Gerald's usually so darn busy.
Oh, stop it. I'm just I do plan differently. I make sure that there's space in between, because actually that's where a lot of magic happens.
That liminal space.
Yes.
I pulled Harvest for Amanda.
Okay, tell me which aspect. Narrow it down.
Water.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's page 103.
Oh, look.
I'm trying to find the card.
Awesome.
And it's Harvest.
Yep.
Harvest. Yeah.
And Julia Kusha Watts is here.
Hi, Julie.
Didn't lock the door.
You didn't change the lock.
She was at the granddaughter's ballet recital, which I
Oh, did you see that? Amanda said that she got that room this morning for Harvest.
Harvest room? Oh, excellent.
Yeah. So the message is the things you desire have already been given to you. Expect good things to happen. The universe cares about you. Enjoy the fruits of your labors and be grateful for Earth's bounty. Celebrate the end of summer with those you love. Do magical things. So the takeaway is looking at the future, you must be mindful of your past, which includes your ancestors. Though sunlight is noticeably waning, you have much to be grateful for, and this card is a simple reminder of those things. A bountiful harvest is no small matter, yet the simplest things can be such triumph, so don't ignore them. Gratitude and harvest go hand in hand. Now is a wonderful time for communication, to share and exchange those things that bring joy to your life. It's a time to share your experiences, to pass on the knowledge you've acquired throughout the season. Harvest what you have sown and share its success. Whew. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. Me too, Amanda. Chills. Yeah.
I think what's really great about this, when if you know, am I allowed to go off track? Is that okay, Carla?
Yeah.
Ms. Kulala's mystical musings, is that okay?
Yes, of course.
La la way.
Yeah. When you know, looking at this harvest card, there because we're human, yeah, well, you know, whatever. Because we try to make order out of things that we don't understand, there's a lot of things that you can see in this harvest and in this harvest card. And one of the things that pops out for me is the importance of keeping vision, or your vision on the overall goal, because it also means there, and then there's an understanding of how you fit and what your ripple effect is. And you know, it's like Carla was saying, it's like share the harvest, because when you share the harvest, you actually make it broader and more impactful and more meaningful. And you may not understand it right now, and you may never understand what it meant to somebody that you shared some of those seeds from your flowers, and they plant them, and then it goes on and on. But it's that continual uncurving, that unfolding. Okay.
And water holds memory. So
Yes.
it's like you're taking the memory of everything that you've ever experienced it, and that knowledge is also, you're sharing that, and that is also a gift.
Okay, so Twisted Sushi. Following the losing knives thread, a conversation with a friend and medium, I am wondering what spirits might be interested in having knives, and if I need to make an offering of some kind, was my inquiry. Her response is that it is a past life situation. Yes, honoring spirit. Yes, giving offerings. But you are also being invited to do magical work like you did in a past life. And an athame is one of your tools in your workings. That's it.
Yep.
And actually, I don't know Twisted Sushi's first name.
Amanda.
Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
You know this. You don't accept it, but you know it. So, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Hopefully, Lady Adara is still in here, and I'm going to pull a card for.
Oh, she said true. Okay, good. Whew. Amanda.
Ooh. Okay, yep, this is the one. Winter solstice Yule order day.
Let me put these down so that I can find a spot because
19, Carla.
Thank you. Oh, yep, there it is. Oh, Peter. That's just amazing that you can remember.
Well,
that.
he probably has for
It's
a
like you
while. I
created
imagine
this
you
or
were
something.
dreaming of them, right, Peter?
Say
You
it
were
again?
dreaming of them, and I've got to look at page 19, and
Yeah. So the message then, there you are, is sun stands still means take a break. Brighter days are coming. Honor and acknowledge endings. Turn personal transformation into societal transformation. Ritual death and rebirth. Fall in love with truth. Celebrate who you are. Step up and take the lead. If you face self-doubt, summon your inner lion or lioness. Enlightened souls use power for the betterment of all. Importance of benign power. Build confidence and personal power that will manifest your dreams. Protect those you hold dear. Set boundaries. Stay true to your convictions. Shift from darkness to light. Listen to your dreams. Life follows death. Don't fall under the spell of darkness. Be introspective without shutting down. From essential darkness is born sacred light. Redefine your purpose. And the takeaway is this card is saying that it's okay to take a break and rekindle your relationship with Animae Mundi. If you've experienced major changes, don't fly into a rage. Instead, reflect on the season and look for patterns. Observe the turning of the wheel, light a fire, make a wreath, journal what you're grateful for, feast with friends and family. Take back your personal power, and sometimes that means setting boundaries. Meditate on triggers. Honor your past and make room for what you want to manifest in the coming year. Perform a ritual to burn away what doesn't serve you anymore, and be sure to fill that void with something positive. Yeah. Wow, that is good.
I love how in this image all of these things are going out. Like sometimes when we overthink things or we have creative thoughts, and what's wonderful is when you share these creative thoughts with other people, sometimes your creative thoughts bounce off of other people's, and even more ideas show up. Like, for instance, pay attention, like and subscribe to Miss Kulala's Mystical Musings for information about her upcoming palmistry oracle. But this feels very important to me as they're flying out. Yeah, hail Hecate, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, there's actually more in that for you too, but I'm not allowed to tell you. But I can actually say, because I do work with Hecate. Remember this image, freeze this, and remember that there's a message there.
Absolutely. Yep.
Something's going on.
And as a shameless plug, I did on my website, I did create 8 kind of like greeting cards using the quarter and cross quarter days, and that's one of them. That's
nice.
That's on one of the cards. And
yeah, because yeah, okay, I'm not supposed to say. All right, so we're damn. Okay, so where we go? Okay. Oh, well, here you go. Through Amber's search to heal herself, she traveled the world from Turkey to India and studied with many notable teachers such as Sean Korn, Sir Dharma Mitra, Sierra Bender, Yogarisha, Alan Finger, Dr. Sarah Gottfried, Kelly Koso, Debbie Ford, and Hala Khoury. Interesting, because the next sentence is, since then, Amber has dramatically shifted her perception of herself into one that excites and inspires her daily.
Absolutely. Yep.
We'll
Yep.
just use my tiny hands and shut the book on that one.
Slam it down.
Bam.
Bam.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Lady Adara goes live sometimes like early in the morning, but she shares a lot of stuff, health beneficial things. So yeah. She's awesome.
Nice. Hey, Peter, do you want a reading? You can say no.
Do I want a reading?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, you can say no. By the way,
I've been using them like pull like one a week, and then I'll just journal on that card. That's what I've been doing with them. So yeah, a reading would be interesting.
Practical Mystic Carol asks, Peter, are you a Leo sun sign, if I may ask?
She's looking at your hair.
I am, well, in real sky, I'm an Aquarius sun sign, but I have Leo. I had a Leo rising, I think. Capricorn moon. At least I used to. I don't know. I have to ask Julie.
Was it this one? Fire North Midnight?
Yes, that is it. 17.
Oh, she already pulled a card. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, the story behind that one's pretty interesting. So that's an interesting thing to bring back.
Oh my goodness. Messages from the spirit world. Stay light on your feet. Take flight when needed. Enjoy the journey. Tune into your psychic abilities. Whatever it is, it's going to happen fast. Think globally. Act locally. Adapt on the fly. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Lessons learned from experience. I think you know the takeaway. Shall I read it?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not Peter.
Oh, thank you, Peter. No. Since this card represents North, there is healing on its way. Being midnight, the spirit world is playing a big role, and obscurity can offer a unique perspective. But don't let the darkness consume you, because Chimney Swift is familiar with flying at night. Chimney swifts are amazing in many ways. They can cruise at 100 miles per hour and cover vast distances, giving them a unique, wide-ranging view of the situation. Drawing this card might mean that you need to look at the big picture before making any decisions, any big decisions. These versatile birds can stay aloft for up to 10 months. Wow. Landing only to nest. So if this card comes up, you should expect to be busy for a while. You should be prepared to be on the go. Wow. The fire's been lit and change is going to happen. Chimney Swift is telling you that you might have to adapt and respond to opportunities on the fly. Call on Chimney Swift's high energy when you need to gather your thoughts and emotions quickly. He's also a helpful guide to taking evasive action if taking evasive action is needed right now. Ooh, so you are going to be in demand. Wow.
Peter, when's your next book starting to be written?
I'll probably start that in the winter.
Well, maybe north around midnight, because look, Quill, fire, this connection. Isn't that interesting? Okay. I'll stop pontificating. Stop being forceful. Careful to stay out of chimneys. You'll end up in stove. Oh, Peter, very nice. Have you written with that?
Yeah, when I was doing my reenacting, I would use pen and ink using quills. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, yeah, that's. I was saying, wow, somebody knows what's happening. Julie, that Chimney Swift. When we first moved into the house, we had a side-by-side wood burner. And one of the first winters that we were in here, I lit a fire, and also I heard this commotion in the pipe. I doused it down as quickly as I could, but it was too late. There was a chimney swift in there. So I put her out in the tree, the oak tree that I had down I have a stone circle in the backyard. And then like a year later, the same thing happened, but I was able to get it down quicker, and I got the bird out in time, which is why one of the messages is that, learn from your mistakes, right? So
absolutely.
That's the story behind that bird.
Wow.
All right, Peter, page 42.
Okay.
In the line, the whale, for they know not what they do, offended a reader who thought that it was blasphemous. I am not Christian, no Bible scholar, but it does have a familiar message of forgiving those who have done harm to another. This poem is dedicated to the heartful, intelligent, wise, wondrous, sentient beings called whales. So,
record keeper. Yeah, that rings true. That does.
I love it, very casually. That rings true.
Yeah.
That does.
Wow. So this has been wonderful. And I wasn't kidding when I said I was getting like higher self goosebump stuff when I was reading the messages. So, yeah, I agree with what they said in the chat, that it was profound. There's a lot of great stuff, not only in the book, but your oracle is.
And I'm glad I had asked Gerald last time I was on his channel about that. It seemed too fluffy, I just, because it's just, I try to stay as positive as I could, but now I'm hearing it from somebody else. It's not too fluffy. It's not.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Where did I get this book, you're asking? Do you have Peter's
my website?
The website linked?
No, not on this particular one, but I will. I'll have all that in the description.
phenoculturewisconsin.com.
Okay, wait a minute. Maybe. There you go. Okay. Boom. Okay. I'm getting it in.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. It will also be in the description too.
Oh, you know what? I'm not a mod, so I can't. Yeah.
Oh.
Peter,
there you go. Thank you.
Jonathan got it, but the phenoculture wisconsin.com is got it too.
Yeah, I put all of them on there, so you get the cards and the book, and the greeting cards are on that website too. So, thank you, Jonathan.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I'm busy for a while, so I need some help.
Yes.
And okay, so I don't know if you saw this, Carla. Miss Kulala's Mystical Musings. Julia Kushia Watts was asking, palmistry oracle deck.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I'm not letting her forget that, Peter.
It's a good idea.
It really we won't. We'll stay on her.
Okay. All right. I thank you again. It has been extremely fun and all around enlightening, and being able to read for other people is always it's like a rush. I have to be honest. It's a great feeling.
It is fun.
And it's all readings are for entertainment purposes only. Right?
And I was entertained if nobody else was.
But so Peter, now this reads okay. It reads pretty well.
You have to go back and read the comments. Yeah, I'm hoping so, right?
Yes.
That's a statement. It reads well.
It does read well. Absolutely.
It's not up for debate, dude. I mean, especially because Carla and I were both reading off of it.
Yeah.
And we both had our different approach to it, which is the sign of an effective tool, I think.
Yes.
So
good. You're in the driver's seat as far as I'm concerned when there's an oracle. I think that
Yes.
As I say in my introduction, it's like, this is mostly about you. This is not about what I'm saying about it. It's more about what you're getting out of it. But the guidebook's there in case, right? In case you need training wheels.
Yes.
Yep. Absolutely. So it's like, when the universe was going, hey, Peter, it's time.
Destiny,
You got some
destiny,
stuff.
destiny.
You got some, yeah, exactly. You're like,
Oh my God.
oh, okay. And here we are.
Oh,
And yeah, there you go.
Awesome.
I love it.
All right. Well, I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and I hope everybody does a lot for the mothers in their life tomorrow.
Yep. Mother's Day tomorrow.
Mother's
All
Day.
the mothers.
Yes, absolutely. And peace, light, and love.
Bye,
everybody. Thank you.